Hey guys, how's it going? It's me, Josh Halter, owner and founder of the BioDude. You can come visit my store here, BioDude Houston, see Padfoot and Lucy, Monday through Friday, 9 to 4, and Saturday, 10 to 2. And I actually really looking forward to this build. This is another raffle build that we're doing. This is a 24 18 by 18 Exoterra, and I got them all riled up, that I'm doing for a Nelsons Milk Snake. So actually an Albino Nelsons Milk Snake. So these colubrids are awesome little snakes. Milk snakes stay relatively on the smaller sides for colubrids. These guys are found in Mexico, and they got their name from Albert Nelson, from a scientist that actually did a lot of studying on that area and with this species specifically. Now, since we are the albino version, you know, there are some other precautions that we kind of just make sure, especially with UVB, that we have a lot of cover, which I'm going to discuss with you guys. So this little one right here is eating frozen thawed pinky mice. Now, these guys in Mexico, they're found in the deciduous forest near the canals and waterways, but it's also Mexico. So today, for this little guy, I'm actually going to take more of a little bit different approach to make the kit that, you know, a little bit more specific to these guys. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to put him back in here. So something about milk snakes is that they are great starters, great starter snakes for kids. But I will say, if you don't interact with them when they're younger, or, you know, they're not used to people, a lot of times they can defecate on you, you know, which isn't fun, but it is also happens when you keep snakes. So for that, to try to mimic their environment the best that I can, it's going to be dry, but there's going to be some humidity spikes, but it's going to be like the deciduous forest type of thing. So I'm going to go a 50-50 mix of Sahara and Firma together to try and recreate what I think is going to closely mimic their environment here in Mexico. So for starters, the plant light that I'm using is one of my solar grows. So this is going to be included in your tank that you get as part of the raffle. This is the 24-inch version. You can see it right here. And it does have the bulb in it that does emit a shade under 6400 Kelvin with 1800 lumens. Pack powered for a bulb that only costs about 30 bucks. Not too bad. So I'm going to get started. So I have my Firma and Sahara here. These are my 36 quart size. Hey, Patty. First I'm going to take some of the Sahara, and I'm actually going to go ahead and dump. All right. I'm going to put a little bit. I'm going to take the Firma. There we go. Got a little bit of dirt on the top, that's okay. So I'm going to start to get it mixed. I'm going to start to see the consistency here, okay? I'm going to keep on keeping on here. So this is the Firma right here, okay? I'm going to go grab this some more Sahara. Now this 50-50 mix is gonna hold tunnels extremely well. And it creates a really nice, very soft substrate that aerates extremely effectively. It's getting there. All it needs is a little bit of moisture. So we have our initial substrate layer down. So next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start to add in the biodegradables, which is the fuel for your substrate. So for the biodegradables, I am going with my sphagnum moss and my leaf litter. So since we are an arid, I don't want to say arid because it's not the case at all, but deciduous forests, a little bit of humidity spikes throughout the day, but we like to be near bodies of water for opportunities. So I'm going to go with a little bit less moss, but still use about 70% of that bag worth in this one enclosure. So what I'm doing is I'm going to got some spag moss in here. perfect. Oh, let's go boy Patfoot. Okay, so not too bad. You can see right now it's not dripping, but I am gonna get a good amount of this moisture out of here. I don't need it to be crazy. So my plan for this enclosure is to have the hot side obviously be the drier side, with the colder side being the more humid, the slightly more humid, we're gonna get humid spikes throughout the day. So, and how I'm laying the top of my moss, the thicker ratio is how I kind of want you guys to see how I'm gonna have it. So you can see that it's pretty sparse on this side with when it comes to the spag moss. But when you look over here, I have a top layer completely covering it. So what I'm hoping to achieve here is we're gonna have a slightly higher humidity value at different levels of depth throughout the enclosure on this side, whereas this side is gonna be very little humidity. That's going to give us more of that consistent, this is my area of Mexico feeling, but I have the opportunity zones, which is a lot like their natural habitat. So let me go here. So then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna get this nice and mixed on this side. Okay, I'm gonna take this. So one of the most important reasons for snakes, colubrids especially, which are, your king snakes, milk snakes, corn snakes, is it helps with respiration, hydration, and shedding, which is extremely important with snakes, especially shedding, to make sure they don't get any retained eye caps and they have a complete fresh shed. That's so paramount with keeping snakes. So then I'm just gonna take, I'm actually gonna do that last. So next I'm gonna take some leaf litter. And so the leaf litter is essentially part of the fuel that slowly breaks down in the environment to create organic nutrition for your plants as well as your substrate. So I am really gonna keep it a little bit heavier on the leaf litter content on this side, and then on this side it's gonna be a little bit lighter, exactly like the spag moss. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix. Okay, I love this 50 mixture. This is probably my favorite of all of them that I get to play with. Okay, so it looks the same, but the leaf litter density on this side is much more, which is going to create more microbial hotspots for your BioShot. So your BioShot is essentially, your essential funguses, your essential positive bacteria that help outcompete the bad bacteria, as well as an organic 444 NPK fertilizer that is 100% organic and animal safe to help jumpstart your plants, to make sure that they don't go into shock when you put them in here because of lack of nutrients. So not only that, it helps establish your different symbiotic relationships with the plant roots. That then creates healthier soil. You guys heard me say it 1,000 times. You guys know how it goes. So I dig it. So, I got the 50-50 mixture of terra firma and terra sahara in here. I'm using a little bit of leaf litter mixed in, as well as some sphagnum moss. A little bit more on this side for the leaf litter and spag, a lot less on this side. Next, what I'm gonna do is I know I'm gonna wanna create one really higher little point here, and for the humidity, for the one cave that I'm gonna create, like I love to make, and I'm actually just gonna lay this right here. Easy peasy. Next is I got some cork bark flats right here. And what I'm gonna do is create little shelters for him that he has access to, or she, to be able to thermoregulate however we may please. Okay, and then, yeah, I can get all the way down. And then I got this bad boy right here. That's gonna be literally the exact same thing. So we have a humid zone that's on the cool side, that's going to be really high right here. Then it's going to then the further we go this way, it's going to be different. So this is going to be a lot different of a humidity area for these guys. So I'm anxious to see what parts we're going to be using. So that's 2 different hides right there that we're going to be able to establish and use. On the hotter end, I have kind of another idea. So I actually have been saving these rocks because you all know I love rocks. So what I'm actually going to do, I kind of want to see, I do like that. Hiding zone under here. I don't know if I'm sold on these just yet with how I have them set up. That I can deal with. So I'm using rocks because these are going to naturally soak in that hot spot. And I'm going to show you how I'm creating different levels of hot spots. The highest it's going to go is 88 degrees. I expect right here to be around 88. I expect this to reach around 84. And we're going to see with a thermometer, hygrometer, and a temp gun. So I also got some really nice branches here. I've been saving this one. So specifically for a small colubrid. So this has like a nice hole that goes all the way through. They can wedge their little bodies in there and hide. Some keepers might not like that, but the snake will. And that's our job, right? Yes, okay. Plants. So on the most humid side, I'm gonna put the bushiest type of taller thing that I have. This is a smaller aglaonema. Okay. And I'm gonna put this little thing right here. So, which is gonna be really beneficial because we have a lot of spag moss in here to help create that environment for this plant to grow. As these root systems penetrate down into the soil, the root systems will also help retain the tunnels and burrows that we are inevitably going to make in here. That's what you want. Okay. I got this really, really cool Tillandsia. I have a spaghetti agave and a cryptanthus. So the spaghetti agave is going to go right here, right in the front. Yes. Okay. It's taken form. Okay, so I need to decide where my water dish is going to go as well. So my water dish is actually going to go right here in the corner. Easy access. So, okay. I will save this for last. So we got some ghost wood, as well as some grapevine. Okay, I got it. Okay. Lots of anchor points. That is very, very important. And I know just what to use. There we go. Put this back up here. Okay. Okay, there we go. That is exactly what I want. So the heat bulb is going to be shining right down in here. And I'll go over heating in just a minute. We are going to be able to thermoregulate from over here all the way to over here at the highest points. We all know heat rises. We can go here for hotter, here for slightly hotter, and here for the not as hot, but this is going to retain some of that heat. They're going to love that. Okay. Put that small piece of cork right here. Then I got this beautiful black mystic. Look how shallow that root base is. They know how to adapt. Tell you that. Okay. That right here. So this, I don't like that. I might have to figure something out there. And I'm going to. So I'm going to make a quick change. You know, as bio dude, he has to, got to change out some stuff once in a while. There we go. That's going to function a little bit better for me. And I have this, I have one of these really close to the heat bulb. It's about 6 inches away in Hercules' enclosure for months, and it's doing great. And then I'm going to put the spaghetti agave, with this unable to fit over here like I wanted. That means the spaghetti agave can't be over here because of the amount of spag. So then what I'm going to need to do, unfortunately, is then take this and move this over here. And this is, again, just so that way I can make sure that all the plants are gonna survive. Okay, I actually like that a lot. And then the spaghetti agave right here. Oh yeah, actually I like that better. It opens up the tank a little bit more. Then we got this awesome looking, we got a bunch of little caverns here all over the place. We got a little cavern here, we got a cavern here, here, here. So what I'm gonna do now is I got some rocks. I'm going to put right here to kind of complement everything that we got going on. Got some, there we go, fallen twig here. And last but not least, come on, there we go. Nope. Let me try one more thing. And last but not least, the water dish. This is the Zilla dish. Check it out. Okay, so next is we're gonna add in some cleanup crew. So first here is the arid springtails. So when you purchase springtails from me, this is how they're gonna be packaged. Okay, so this is the arid ones that we have. So we actually took one from my master culture to make it easier. Okay, I'm just gonna dump these bad boys in here, and I'm gonna dump them on the cool side. There we go. Next, we have some orange isopods. This is the Prasinius species. There's a little spider in there. That's cool. She's so angry, so I'm gonna make sure a little spider doesn't go in there. Cool. Okay, so you can just see the the oranges in here. So we got about a little over a dozen. Now we're gonna pay close attention to these guys. To make sure they're not overpopulating. You also want to make sure that you always have enough biofuel in here. So I'm actually going to add in probably some of my palm bark or even some of my paperback bark and put it in here to ensure that these guys have enough food. Because last thing you want is for them to bother your snake. So what we're going to do is we're going to dump them right in here. And they are going to love the rocks. I can tell you that. And then last but not least, we also have some darkling beetles that we're gonna add in here. Okay. I like that for a cleanup crew. Okay, so next I want to go over a little bit of husbandry with these guys. And I want to get this little dude out while I talk about this. Come here. I'm not going to hurt you. Okay, so again, being from Mexico, these little Nelsons milk snakes, for one, they're cannibalistic. So here at the point of sale, we keep a really close eye. If they're really young, we might have them together for like a week, but we always keep them separate because they will eat each other. This enclosure size is great for a Nelsons of this size, but the end game, in my opinion, for for an adult one of these guys, you're gonna want at least a 75 gallon, and I might even push you to get a 4x2x2 for a pair, which you can only keep together during breeding season. So that's something to keep in mind. These snakes can live a really long time. They can live, 15, 20 years, depending on the care. And they get to the size to sometimes be able to handle, a small rat, from my understanding. I haven't seen one take a medium yet, but that doesn't mean that there's no big ones out there. As far as heating and UVB and all that stuff is concerned, I'm going to be closely watching the heat with my thermometer hygrometer. And it's so that way I can move the probe around and see. We're also going to be using a temp gun once I get the heat and everything going. So to help regulate some of the things, I'm going to show you guys what we're using. So for starters, since we're using a heat, I highly recommend you use a thermostat with snakes. Highly always recommend it. This is the 600 watt Exoterra brand. This has the night drop mode, which is really nice. And essentially you hook up your reptile dome. This is the Exoterra 6-inch ones. You can also use the Zoom Ed, other brands like that. You plug this into your thermostat. You set your high, put the probe where you want it, and then it will automatically control your bulb for you. It's also to make sure that it's like nothing, it keeps things from being unsafe, helps anyway. For the heat bulb, we're gonna be using the 50 watt halogen by Arcadia. You can also use Exoterra or Zoom Ed's 50 watt halogens, but they are a little bit more expensive, and Arcadias tend to last a long time, so that's why I recommend it. Now, I was a little concerned about the T5HOs. Then a T5HO will work with this, no problem with this species. But since we are an albino, I am going with the UVB 100 T8. Now, this is the 24-inch size, so this is going to be, if you would consider right around like a 4 or 5% for the marketing aspect, but it's a pretty low Ferguson zone. So after we get this little dude in here, we are going to be making sure that that we're going to check on our solar meter to make sure this bulb is not too powerful, but I expect it to be just fine. And I recommend checking them every 6 months with your solar meter to make sure that to make sure that it doesn't need to be replaced. Now, a lot of people say snakes don't need UVB and blah blah. In my opinion, they do benefit from it, but again, being an albino species, you have to be a little bit more careful because they are sensitive to it. So having lots of different areas that we can go to remain safe and hidden is very, very important. As far as the lighting is concerned, I already mentioned the solar grow, and I already mentioned the bugs. The heat bulb we're going to be placing right here, okay, with this 50 watt bulb right on top. Then we're going to have the right in there with the thermostat hooked up, and then the UVB is going to go right across, right like that. And it's going to take up a total of 3 plugs for a setup like this. And again, if you do this for a young milk snake, you can use this substrate to jumpstart your new ones as your little one grows and becomes more established. So I think the best part now is going to be to get this little dude put in here and see how we do. Again, guys, my name's Josh Halter. I'm the owner and founder of the BioDude. Please come check out my website, thebiodude.com. Visit my store. If Feel free to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and all those other, social media platforms. The dude abides.